Do it. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
3,
Wait, what's
2,
this called? Big announcement coming soon? Oh,
and
yeah. 5, 4,
GM, welcome back to the Big Announcement Coming Soon podcast. Mike is out at the airport today, but we are joined by Law of the Saw. David is here, and Nick is back. Good to see you, gentlemen.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. Appreciate you.
Yeah, super psyched for today's show.
So we're talking NFTs all day today. Grand utility show, all utility for NFTs. And as we start our show every week, it's got music from Faceman. We talked about his newest drop last week. He's got another one, a free drop. But that's where we start with. It's open copyright. He says we can use it for corporate, personal use, and it's an NFT. So the license transfer is easy for us. And a few tweets off the top of the show. We got a thread here talking about what Yuga's doing, and they're just saying it's so hard to follow all the Yuga stuff. What it all does, what's the utility of it, where is it going? You need threads to follow. So there's too much going on, and that's just one ecosystem. And then right under that in my Twitter thread, 6529er talks about the number 88 meme drop. And Nick's our 6529 expert. We're up to 88, man. Nobody can know. Like, you used to know off the top of your head every single one that was dropping, the artist, the history. How do you keep up with 88? Like, the ecosystem's getting out of control.
Yeah, I mean, full disclosure, I'm not as much of a meme maxi as I was before, for that very reason, right? As 6529 always states, the memes are just for fun, and they're for collecting, right? That's why they're always priced relatively low. It's the reward collectors, too. In many ways, that is a bit of the utility, the rewarding and the allow list, but no one has been able to game the allow list, right? Including many full set holders back from season 1. We did see a short break from season 2, and yes, it kicked off earlier this week with season 3. I know the artist that kicked it off was DK, super FOMO about that and jealous about that, but no, I'm on the sidelines with a lot of the memes. There was another drop tonight that you can probably post the image of. Not familiar with that artist. The art looks pretty dope, but yeah, no, I'm with you. I think if you go onto the 6529 website, there's a timeline and a blueprint that shows that they're not slowing down, right? There will be another season shortly after what they're calling the festivities, which is just another way to reward holders of like airdrops and a couple other generative art projects that will be given out later this month. However, like, yeah, I've seen overall like a drop in unique holders. And what's happening now is just people who have been around for the whole time that are just collecting and not trying to trade or do anything, or yeah, they're still kind of reaping the benefits, but this is going to go on for many seasons. I mean, like I bet we can find the image that even says like all the way up to season 5 or season 6, right? So we've just kicked off season 1, season 3. Each season has about 45 cards, give or take, right?
And that's all.
Good way
like, we've talked about the utility, and you said is the drops, and it's more art, but it's growing and growing. And let's transition there, because the utility we're talking about today is a lot more than the art, and that's where NFTs started, right? Ownership and art, but then because it's this on-chain token, there's a whole lot more to do. So let's kick it off. Law, what are they doing with Ticketmaster and A7X?
Yo, so many of you might remember the disaster of the Taylor Swift fans suing Ticketmaster from, what was that, later last year? Yeah, I think it was like December 2022. Well, they're back. They're back but this time they're working with a group of individuals that are extremely educated and involved into blockchain technology, and that group of individuals is Avenged Sevenfold. Shout out to A7X, dude.
Because they kicked it off early. Death Bats Club and stuff was straight utility from the beginning, low price, reward the fans, tons of different utility too. Like, they really were early and smart with it.
Yeah, well, Matt he's a early pioneer in Web3 and really took the time to learn about the technology that's available here and what's really possible with it, you know.
Hmm.
And I know they're looking to come off of their record label, Warner Brothers, pretty soon here, and I think they're going to be looking to reap full advantage of true decentralization and showing the world what a big major band like A7X can do with this technology and being on their own.
Okay, question about that. And we've talked about this a bit on Spaces. Before we get back to Ticketmaster specifically, Avenged Sevenfold has a massive fan base. They have longevity. When they go to Web3, people want to buy the song. They want to own the NFT because they have a built-in fan base. If you're a brand new band, and a lot of us accept that streaming is free on Spotify, so music should be free, whether that's right or wrong is a different discussion. Can you sell as a brand new band before you get the fan? You know, there's that kind of catch-22 of if you're brand new, don't you want to go to be on Warner at first? Or can you go straight blockchain?
I mean, there's a million different ways to do it, right? And I think what it really comes down to is how you market your, whether you do a song. One thing that I've seen really interesting that artists are doing right now are open editions. Like you got people like Sammy Arriaga who does these singles, and he does really well with them. And what happens is you can purchase these singles, share the link, and for anybody else that clicks that link and buys a single, you get a royalty. You know what I mean? So
Okay, so the
there's
royalty
there's
kicking
always
in.
these new ways of
Yeah.
this of inventions, and they keep coming, and I love it. I love to see it.
Yeah, the royalty kicking in,
Yeah.
that's something that we've talked about with artists, historically getting screwed by companies. This can automate that when you buy, it's instantly paid. You don't need to store up to the end of the year and have it, a check sent to your accountant. And this is nice, like referral links for fans to send it to grow the fan
Yeah.
base.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah,
so-
totally.
Like
That's really interesting.
The
Like,
fan gets the royalty.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
super interesting because you can get set up like essentially, yeah, exactly, like whole like levels of monetizing and incentivizing people to allow them to not just be passionate about it, but make money from their passion. That's not centered in like, Warner's offices. That's awesome.
And you
I mean,
have
this-
you have normally a record label that's doing your marketing, your promotion, but instead, like if you do it smart, you're able to leverage that into your fan base doing that for you. And guess what? You get to reward your fan base rather than
Mhm.
rewarding your record label.
Totally. That's awesome.
Yeah. Okay,
Sick.
so Ticketmaster, how do they actually solve the Taylor Swift thing? Is this just talk, or are they going to do something?
No, so it's already gone through. Ticketmaster announced. Well, when was it officially? On March 27th, that they were going to be doing a token gated feature with in a partnership with Avenged Sevenfold. So basically, if you had an Avenged Sevenfold NFT, you got to get first call at purchasing tickets to their newly announced tour that is going on this year. So before tickets even went live on Ticketmaster, DBC community got first access to, and of course, there's a few NFTs in the collection that got people. There's some special features like that already got tickets. But if you were a DBC member in the early days, you were airdropped this like Pop Wonder ticket collab, and basically that was them saying, hey, when we go back on tour, you can burn this NFT if you'd like to get 2 free tickets to an upcoming show that we announce for when we come back on tour.
Nice.
So
That's
what
awesome.
happened was there's a lot of people that went and decided to burn those NFTs to get their 2 tickets for this tour, and Ticketmaster set that up with Avenged's dev team, which I believe is called Bitflips. And yeah, dude, it was really cool. It's the first time we ever seen anything like this happen in history, where a major band is using the Web3 technology on a huge level to give their fans access to their tour.
Mhm.
And there's these kids, they're straight up just like they acquired these Pop Wonder tickets all throughout the last months, being like, I've been waiting for this shit, you know. And then they got like whole tours booked out, dude. They're just gonna go see the whole band this year, you know.
Oh,
And
that's
they're
fantastic.
so excited about it, and it's really cool to see this technology really come through, and the stuff that we've all been dreaming of. This band is really trailblazing and setting a really good um, example of what a band can do, man. I've been a part of this community and project since day one, and it's something I'm really proud of, and something that could just really blows me away every time they do something. You know what I mean?
Well, and like we said, they know how to do it. So
That's awesome.
with GBC and burning the Pop Wonder tickets, I feel like long term they're holding your wallet. They know there's going to be future drops. They didn't come to sell an NFT and exit as to extract
No.
the cash. They came for their fans. But the things I wanted, the early access, yeah, I mean the biggest issue with Taylor Swift stuff is scalping. So if you're in DBC or the hypothetical Swifties club, you're getting your tickets with the scalpers if they want to become part of the club too. You get access to it. And then when you've limited that demand from the secondary market, because there still will be people buying to resell, especially as an
Sure.
NFT, it's easy to, but the hyper fan is gone. They've already secured their ticket, you know, by owning their NFT to access it. So now you're selling to secondary fans, and that pushes that. I mean, maybe some bands I think are beyond, you know, they have billions of fans, but for a lot of them, because I went and looked at tickets for a show, Melvin's Mr. Bungle, it's $151 on the secondary. And I used to see the Melvins for like $20, and I realized that was a
Yeah,
couple
dude.
years ago, but 151 secondary was a bit much.
For real. It's
Yeah.
Mr. Bungle is what it is now.
Yeah, I really want to see
Yeah.
that. I might
I
break
mean-
down.
If Taylor Swift would have offered some kind of thing to where her ultimate fans that held her token and membership, right, the Swifties,
Hmm.
to be able to have first access to being able to purchase the tickets for that show before it went on sale to the public, like this would have fixed everything.
Yeah. Hey, David, you're getting tickets with Pandas. What's up with that? They've done a ton in the last 2 weeks. Icebag is all over Twitter.
Yeah, totally. I mean, this is all leading in from this conversation. Exactly right. It's all about that. Like, it's all about essentially developing a kind of not a walled garden, but like a point of entry where you're like, okay, I'm actually committed to this, so therefore I bought the NFT, so I'm part of the community, and then I can engage with it. And because of that, you get, yeah, like you're saying, the super fans get to have their first in advantage, and then they don't have to compete with all the scalpers and the people who are just better at using, like, you know, software to get the tickets faster, et cetera, and so forth. So I mean, yeah, with Pandas, like, so I'm into two Pandas at the very beginning, and the reason I started minting those and blueberries is just because I looked at the project and I was like, okay, there's planned utility for these coming up, and it's interesting. It makes a lot of sense. And so yeah, they've been releasing that recently, and I've actually tried it out, and it's pretty cool. So essentially, what happens is you have Pandas. I have two, and based on their rarity, they get Panda points each day, actually, given to them, and then you can upgrade their art or what they're wearing, different features, and that makes them more rare, and you can get. So the rarity kind of, I guess, like changes, and so as you use it more, if you're a heavy user, you can get more rare things by virtue of spending your free Panda points that you're getting each day and amassing them and buying like rare hats or whatever it is. But the other thing you can do is then you can convert those Panda points into casino chips, and there's like a whole little online casino. You can play different games, blackjack and poker and stuff like that, or you can join poker games with other members. And then the other one is tickets. Yeah. And so like they've signed agreements. They're big into UFC. I'm not a huge UFC fan myself personally. I don't know. I just don't like to watch people get hurt, but nonetheless, fair enough. And but they also have yeah, like tickets at the Raiders Stadium, I think in Las Vegas, that also is going to be available for different concerts, different things available. And then there's yeah, in Rotterdam, what was it, Jeff? That you showed
Rolling Loud, right?
Yeah, Rolling Loud. So yeah, you can get tickets to that. And so the same way as you store up your Panda points and then you like put them towards tickets. And so essentially within the community, it's not just one utility, it's like different utilities for different people who are interested in different types of things, whether you want tickets, whether you want to upgrade and trade pandas and make them more rare, whether you want to play in the casino, yeah, that kind of stuff. So it's really interesting.
David, quick question. When you mentioned the casino option, is there a way, like, does it all stay in the ecosystem? What's the payout on the casino? Is it into Panda points as well?
Yeah,
Or
you
does
switch
give you
it
something
out of
else?
chips. Yeah, out of chips back into Panda points, and then the Panda points can be used only within the ecosystem. You can never really get Panda points out into cash. You can only use it for the different elements. I mean, I suppose if you upgraded your Panda to a higher quality and then sold it, that's a way to exit, I suppose. But yeah, so I mean, it's really interesting watching, like, because we've started to see like little projects pick up utility, and this is we were talking about Yuga before. Like, what do you do with Yuga? I mean, its utility is
Online
just like
stuff.
this sprawling mess of ideas that have kind of generated over time, and power to them. Like Yuga's done a fantastic job of like monetizing that, but is it a community that you're there for because you believe in what they're doing and it's tight, or is it because you like somehow want to get rich off something that Yuga does that suddenly makes your thing go up? Like, what's the purpose of the community? And I think increasingly you see these NFT communities pop up as ways to say, hey, we all actually believe in this. Used to be this crazy Discord or whatever, or Slack back in the day, but now we actually have a way to kind of like capture who we are and kind of have activity that we do benefit us back in, because a lot of the Panda points and whatever go back into paying for infrastructure, new events, sponsoring people and things like that. So yeah, it's really cool to watch.
Brings up a good point, right? Because when we talked about a month or so back with Yuga getting into the Ordinal game, it was a head scratcher, because their identity continues to evolve, but you also have to wonder if it's just them trying to just piggyback on every trend. And yeah, I mean, if you have Ape Fest and stuff, but you don't really, like everyone's alluding to, we don't really know what their identity is anymore, because it seems to be just consuming so many things, and I don't really know
Ape
anymore, like, what
identity
they do stand for.
is being an NFT holder. Like, I'm repping my every week my Cranium hoodie, and Cranium's a lot like you're saying with Pandas from the very beginning, music focus, tickets, and free access to shows. So, and I realize this sounds dumb. The utility from Yuga, you got dropped more NFTs. Now they happen to have a ton of value and money is great. Right? The utility from holding Craniums is I can physically go to a music show. And tons of people have. David, you can, if you ever wanted to, go to a UFC event. Like, there's actual real life turnarounds from what this is, not more NFT based utility.
But let's not discount Ape Fest, right? I mean, that was a pretty significant thing. It's minimal, right? But it's
people like it in that value. It's just a different tie back. And then I want to talk GMX Berries today. I picked up 2 of these a while ago. And I'm not going to go much into their platform because I'm not shilling it. It's a leverage trading that they've offered with this NFT. And as we've said before, I make a lot of good money buying Bitcoin and sitting on my ass and not doing anything. So I'm holding my 2 berries, and hopefully somebody wants to buy them later to get the discounts and the payback. But what I find interesting is these are specific things with this utility and this NFT that you really can't do in Web 2. So I went through and kind of went through the traits of what it is. So you have a gated Discord. You can do that in Web 2. Collectible images, you can do that in Web 2 in different ways. Proving ownership, you could send a physical thing. It's kind of an upgrade on that. Having that club. Now you can have a gated trading group where you talk. But for the first time, because of the NFT, you have like a gated trading platform, then you do leverage trading on there, and then other people are allowed to trade there. Because you hold the NFT, it's that instant payout, right? So you're not a shareholder or an investor in the typical sense. You're not waiting for your quarterly payouts from your hedge fund. It's getting rewarded.
I think there are two benefits. You get one where if you stake your berry, this occurs. You get a piece, like just a very small yield based on the trading fees. I think you get less trading fees. But the big one is that you can increase your leverage much higher if you have a berry and you stake it. And so, yeah, it's an interesting use case, definitely. Like,
And that's the
utility
big Web3 one. You
directed for.
can't do that in Web 2. You don't own something and then head off to your broker and be like, I can do extra trading here, with more leverage. And that I found interesting because even with fan clubs in the past, there's been access to tickets. And this is just one of, and I realize it's financial again, but really impossible to do before this.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I would say that it really kind of shows, I suppose the floor price consistency over time shows like how much the utility is beneficial. And I would say that, yeah, berries I've liked because they've kept their price, but they haven't gone up really. They've just kind of gone sideways because they have the utility of if you own it, you get those things. But it seems that some people do that and a couple of people do it for the art, but really where the utility is targeted is kind of at like pretty hardcore degens who probably didn't have money because they lost it all on 100x leverage to buy more berries or whatever. So that's probably maybe they should like target the lower end or something. I don't know. But either way, no, it's fantastic. I love the berries. But I would definitely say compared to like Pandas, and it sounds like you guys' projects, it's less about like, oh, I'm part of a group, and it's more like this thing gets me this thing. And so it's kind of like open owning a token that gets you access, but not really a personal involvement in it, which is
right.
Yeah.
Well, and that's why I grabbed that one today is because of that exact use case is why people jump in. And I really, as much as I do believe blockchain NFTs make so many other things I listed from Web 2 and Web 0 IRL possible, easier and better and faster, that trading club was the one where I really looked at and thought like that's really the first and only, like I can't think of anybody else that's actually invented something new on top of NFTs. It's more been tons of improvements on top of things.
Because you're saying it's beyond an alpha group, right? It's an alpha group with a platform that is functional. Right?
Yeah, and because of the instant way that cash can flow through blockchain, you can do that. Now, they also, on top of that, have copy trades, which are something that, you can hand your money off to a hedge fund, but this way you can just plug in and say that person's been on a roll the past month. I'm just going to take my stack, and whatever they do, it's going to automatically copy them, which is another one I found.
And Andrew Kang trades on GMX, so that's, he's a pretty good trader. Now, is he hedging or not? I don't know. So you might want to bet on his trades.
I'm not
hedging by a GMX and then like you're losing each time. But
my blueberry play, like most of my NFTs, has been to just hold it. I have held all of them.
Yeah. We're too old for this. Young games.
Yeah, it's to sell to another degen trader. Definitely not using the utility myself on that one.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we should mention not first rug, obviously on NFTs, but one of the funnier art rugs where Goblins WTF changed their art because people stopped paying them royalties. Right? Did you see that?
Yeah.
That was pretty interesting. I mean, they raised an interesting argument, like that somebody, I forget who brought it up. If your NFT project has a limited treasury and you're not having enough royalties flowing through, you do have server costs to pay to store these NFTs over time. Mm-hmm. And essentially, that was what Goblins was having a problem with. They were like, well, if you're not, I'm basically paying for you guys to trade these Goblins, and so they're like, no, I'm not going to do that anymore, I guess. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it raises interesting questions about like what happens to these like immutable, because you're still paying for IPFS, right? So they're not really immutable. So I guess that's one for the ordinals.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so royalties and law. I'm sure you read this from maybe 3 months ago. It was a Derb or a Doob thread, and they're the founders of Reckless Labs that do Wicked Craniums and laws on that team. He's saying basically a company can't run off of royalties alone, and if we're going to make this project a bigger thing, and then like we've talked about, they really have. They said, who cares about zero royalties? We have and we need other income streams because the royalties wouldn't be enough. And I understand other projects that are, with apes are at 70 ETH, a 2% royalty can fund something, but ideally, I don't think he was going. Ideally, your club is 10,000 people that don't trade. And then you die because you have no royalties. So, Law, what were they talking about with how to run everything without royalties?
Yeah, I don't think he was talking like that should be like the norm. Like it's definitely. I think I speak on their behalf when it's power to the creators and the artists for sure, right?
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
it's actually devastating that they've taken away this whole royalty feature. In my opinion, it's been not what this space should be about, and not a fan of it. But
Yeah.
what that article was kind of going towards is that it's not a sustainable business plan to live off of royalties. Is where Dura, I believe it was Dura dude where he was getting at. And if you're planning your whole business model on banking off of surviving off of royalties, especially right now, you're in for some fucking trouble. You know what I mean? It's going to be a hard, rough road. And if you don't have other sources of income coming in to kind of fund what you're trying to get to, then yeah, you're gonna have a hard time.
So
Yeah.
so what have
No.
they got over there? And I know there's certain things you guys can't share, and they're working with some of this stuff created around WC to help other people. But what is that revenue stream? I mean, this is a lifestyle NFT, a music ticket NFT.
Well, yeah, as you know, we had a big initial funding. We were one of the, as you know, we're one of the OG projects, so our launch was actually really well. You know, we sold out, and basically, um, that among our other sources of revenue like merch and our live events and our sponsors and our business partners, we have a long-term business plan that is, you know, we're constantly working on and improving. And yeah.
Hey, when you say long-term business plan, do we want to ask then, are WC holders security holders?
Yeah. Let's ask Gary.
That. Yeah. Yeah.
Let's go to Gary's office and give it a knock, and let's ask him.
He'd say, well, you have to understand that many projects are different projects, and then many things are securities, but not all projects are different projects, and like sometimes that they are.
And I'd say, Gary, that's not what I asked you, buddy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Versatile.
We've got like 5 minutes left. Did everybody
Jumping
watch?
in-
Because sorry, Nick, go ahead before
Yeah,
I change.
no,
the
I
topic
just wanted
completely.
to just shout out to the Wicked Cranium groups, because they were an OG, and I mean they remain an OG to this day. And what I like about it is, like, over time, throughout the evolution of this space, while most projects copied apes and blueprints and did mutant this, mutant that, and made silly roadmaps that really convolute their mission statement, what I think is cool that you guys done is that you just, like, refined who you were, and you could rattle off your mission statement and your vision and your plan in a bullet point or two. And let's go back to Yuga. Can we do that now? Can we give me a 1-2 sentence elevator pitch as to what they are? No, cannot. We're still confused. But with Wicked Cranians you can. I think that's really dope. You know, when I think of music NFTs, that's what I go to, and that's what I think of now. So yeah, I mean, kudos for all of that. And yeah, I just think that's something that should be noted. As while most people add on and try to do this and be everything at once, I appreciate that you guys just fucking held it down and said, no, we're this now. This is where we stake our
Thanks,
claim.
man.
Cool.
I mean, we really owe it to our community at the end of the day, because we all kind of came together, and with this, when we joined the Wicked Craniums at first, this was a time much different than it is today, right? Like
Absolutely.
they didn't know what they were gonna do. We all came together as a community. It was like, hey, there's already people like Matt from Avenge in here. There's Marshmallow in here. There's Steve Aoki in here. All these people that loved music, and these skeletons were like, yo, this scream music. Let's do something music. And we have all these people in here in the music industry already. Let's do something in music, experience, and events, and it just went that way, man. So
That's awesome. Yeah.
shout out to the
right.
community.
Yeah.
Word.
Hell yeah.
Yep. Love that community, and been a long time. Like maybe
Yeah.
2 weeks after Mint. I don't know. I've stacked a whole pile of them.
That's how Jeff onboarded me to NFTs. I swear to God, he just kept
Really?
saying Wicked Craniums, Wicked Craniums. No
Yeah.
It
context.
was my
Wicked
first
Craniums,
Ethereum
Wicked
NFT.
Craniums. Yeah, that was probably my second or third. Yeah,
And I mean, I think
Yeah.
that's it. Like, if we're all still here now, these are the people who are really here, right? I mean, the beginnings of the new ride into the future, like after the bear market and everything. So, yeah, it's a great time to be kind of all, yeah, getting on the horses together and riding off into the near term future.
Hell yeah.
So near term past, Gensler on TV last night. What'd you guys think? I mean,
Emmer was fantastic. That was a great. I mean, like Emmer just played into him. I rescind my time. The answer is no. Anyway,
yeah, I thought it was terrible. I mean, he straight up wouldn't answer questions that were good questions, and then there were a few really bad questions, and he answered them very well. Like, that's a terrible question. I was like, okay, so we're getting really bad questions that have nothing to do with anything. And then he refuses to answer everything else. And it was funny at first, but then I'm really happy right afterwards they started enacting legislation to get rid of him, because regardless of his enforcement actions or what things are securities, you have to give people answers. Like that's a kind of a baseline thing.
Hey, you're the guy. Yeah. You know.
yeah. Did anyone catch Sherman's piece? Was there a new Mongoose coin, or like I don't know? I feel like it.
During lunch he was on because I was replaying it, and I jumped up and was like, oh yes, Sherman's on, and then I got a baby, so back to that stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
next
mean,
time.
nothing really pumped other than some of those I'm not going to say them, the few new what do we want to call them?
Meme coins, yeah.
Non-SHIB meme coins. Yeah, but there was specific kind of internet meme, like
Pepe.
very degen.
Yeah, frog coins.
Yeah, those are pumping, and I guess Sherman didn't mention any of them.
Missed opportunity.
Yes. Well, guys,
you guys-
we will play this for Mike. I hope he decides to buy NFTs. I doubt it. But I'm interested to hear his thoughts, and we will be back next week. Law, thank you so much for joining us. Hope to have you back sometime. We'll see you on, let's see, Wicked Crane Spaces on Wednesdays, Below Board Comedy Spaces another day, Alpha Vibes you do like 3 days a week. What are your spaces? Where can people catch you online?
Yeah, I'm online all the time. But yeah, we do Wicked Wednesday every Wednesday. That's guaranteed. We do that with the community. And I have a new show that's actually my first very own show that's premiering this Sunday at 9 a.m. I'm taking over Sunday mornings. And it's called
Huge.
Live, Laugh, Law.
Oh, nice. I
And
saw
a
that
TV
today,
show or just
actually,
a
on
show
your
about
feed.
law?
It's going to be ridiculous. Let's just say that.
Hell yeah.
So if you're into ridiculousness, you're going to love it.
Nice. I hope you have guests.
Oh, yeah.
So we can be on that list.
Oh, yeah.
Ridiculous is our thing.
Are we finishing off with BTC predictions, or just want to hope that NFTs don't all go to zero?
Oh, we're all going to zero. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
mate. Like, just
Zero is nirvana. It's when everyone stops caring about prices
why
and
we're
we've
here.
reached a different way of being. So you know,
Exactly.
in the interim, there may be some volatility.
Yes. Continued
Yeah.
volatility. Awesome. Have a great week, gentlemen.
yeah. Thanks,
Rock
guys.
on, guys.
Yeah.
Here's
Wait, what's this called? Big announcement coming
Yeah.
soon? Oh, yeah. 5, 4, 3.